All right, so I made this cool video yesterday before I went to dinner, and I'm like, cool, I'll just post this when I get home. Some whistle pig entered the picture, and I didn't end up posting. But I also saw that my video was then ruined, and not ruined, but my video was, here, check this out. What's up, everybody? Rob Ferretti and the drama involving the SSC Tuatara. It's a terrible name, I'm sorry. I'm sure there's some sort of meaning. The drama behind it is not really lessening. Now, you've seen Misha and Robert out at the Nürburgring at Apex and Shmi's video. I just sort of cover it generally. There had to be a response, right? You have all of this going on. You've got guys claiming to have broken a record. Now, I've got no doubt that the car is fast, but SSC was silent for a while. Then SSC came out and laid a statement, and the statement wasn't really comforting. They're like, oh yeah, that video that was used, we didn't realize you were going to use that to authenticate our claims. So that video isn't a depiction of what actually transpired, which is weird, right? So they said that the gear ratio that the data was being based off of was incorrect, and that according to the gear ratios, the tires, that they overinflated them, so they got an extra couple of millimeters. When you start doing all of this, that the top of sixth gear would have been 333 miles an hour was where it would have geared out to in sixth gear. Even higher, I think it was about 350 in seventh gear. The problem is this isn't really, I don't know, comforting. It could have gone two ways. It's either like, we got caught with our pants down, we lied about it, or we mistakenly represented something to sell cars. I hope that's not the case, but there's only one way out of that. Even the driver of the car came out and said, like, look, I'm going to say I don't know anything other than what I'm told. Like, and he's like, the car felt fast, but I don't know how fast I was going. I know what I was told over the radio. I know what people told me. I don't know anything. And like, honestly, do you really know if you're going 299 miles an hour or 270 miles an hour or 330 miles an hour? When you're raging along that quickly, you don't know any of this. So aside from just the raw dump of this is the video of the run and let the internet try to pull it apart, it's going to be really tough to justify. And they're going to take the same reference points and do the same sort of backwards math to try to get close just to see if it's in the ballpark. The only way for this to sort of smooth over, and this is what I would do if I was Shelby Supercars, is say, we know the car can do it. Let's go out and do it again. And you think about it from a business perspective, that's now like the, oh, you don't think I can dunk? Watch this. That's what you want to do. That's where the business really hammers down, is by proving to everybody that's doubting you that something that you've done, which is impressive, can be done. If you don't do that, that's almost even worse, because now they're like, we're happy with what it's done. We're never going to do that ever again. And now it casts even more doubt, especially with all this other stuff floating around, that it may not have happened in the first place. Now, as a business owner, I would put that money in, and that would be the first check I would write. I'm like, all right, when are you available again? Let's get it. Same driver, different driver, doesn't matter. Let's get the car back out there. Let's shut down the road. Everybody who wants to come, now that everybody knows we're doing it, every big YouTube channel, every news outlet, anyone who wants to come watch, you guys come watch. Here's what we're doing. Guinness is coming out. A big problem that they had on this one is they claim that the system that they were using to authenticate the speed was like, they represented it at first as if it was done by this company. And then the company that does the monitoring system came out and said, A, we had nobody there. We didn't sanction the run. We don't know anything about it. The calibration could have been off. And we can't validate any of their data. That's a big problem. So here's what I would hope would happen. And here I like call out, like I like Jarod, so I don't want to like call him out, but I think this should happen again. I think that the road should be shut down again. I think the same car should come out, and I think there should be more data acquisition. Get rid of that terrible camera. I'm sorry, like if that, whatever camera company that was, you should be out of business by now. That 360 camera thing. Like if you disagree with me, you're wrong, but you're entitled to be wrong. But that's like the worst use of a recording equipment on a significant event in the history of cars, right? That's almost like having a guy in there trying to sketch a picture while you're driving. It's terrible. It was worthless. And the only way I think this smooths out, and prove me wrong, is to get out there and do it again. Now, as a company and as a business owner, I have to respect that doing this is not cheap, right? Aside from getting the car there, putting gas in the car, that's all stuff that I think could be covered by Shelby Supercars. I don't know what it costs to shut down the roads. I can imagine that there are some wealthy benefactors that exist out there that would like to fund this so that the barrier to do this again for the company is not significant. I know a bunch of YouTubers that would happily grab the plane ticket and rent a car out there to be out there on site with them. I'm one of them. They're never going to scare me with a trip to Vegas. I'll happily be there and witness this. So there is no real hard evidence. I'm hopeful that it happened, but I'm like sort of a 70-30 that it didn't happen. Only because of what I can see. I'm a what I can see guy, and right now, if it happened and I didn't have the data, I would just send over all the data. Here's all the telemetry on something like that, on a car that's being used for this purpose. You are data logging everything. And if you're not doing that, and you have all these cameras and you have all these recordings, and you don't just say, hey, bozo who put up the wrong video, put the right one, just throw the raw file on our website. That's a traffic generator. People are going to go right to your website. You're going to get all these views of people getting the video and slowing it down, speeding it up, and measuring the distance and looking for alterations. That's good stuff. They didn't even do that. They just did like one standard press release being like, we're super proud of what we've done. Stay tuned. And I think the stay tuned should be, we'll be out there on that road again, and we're going to do it again. Secret's out. We know they're going for it. Guinness didn't authenticate it. The data, the GPS company didn't authenticate it, but it can be authenticated. So if the car is capable of doing it, let's get out there and do it again. Let me know your thoughts, Jared. I hope if you need my help in that, you don't need my help in that, you can completely ignore me. You can dislike the video and just go out there and do it. That would be my suggestion. I think it's for the betterment of the auto industry. I think that's the way to go. Rob Ferretti, thanks for watching. I've got somebody at my door. That's who interrupted my shot. 918. So that was like most of the snippets, the important ones. I cut some of it out just for time. But I was making the case that, you know what, Shelby, the only way they can do this to legitimize or prove to us that they can effectively dunk is to do it again. And Jarod Shelby made that video, made a video response to everybody. It was the first like really significant public statement from Shelby regarding this.
If you're watching this video, you're probably well aware of all the controversy that's swirling right now around the speed records that this car set just a few Saturdays ago.
And they said they're going to do it again. And a bunch of people then sent me that video and then said he's inviting you out. He's not inviting me out. He's inviting Shmi, who made the one video. The guys that did the data, not me. I just come and yap. But it's the guy who, Robert Mitchell, who's from Apex, and then Misha. That's the Robert he's referring to, not this guy. But the video itself, he did mention something that was sort of concerning to me and sort of backs up what I think actually happened. He said, we don't have a crisis team, but we requested all the video files because we didn't have it. And we saw the video files of the run, and we saw inconsistencies all over the place with the GPS and then the video, which means something's inaccurate. And which means that I don't think, although his video is sort of standing by like, we believe we did it, I don't think the car did. There's no hard evidence that the car did what it said it could do, and now they're going to go out and run it again. Now, don't get your hopes up for a repeat. And don't think that if they don't repeat and do 331, that car is a failure. It's got a ton of horsepower. And like anything, you see like twin turbo Gallardos and Vipers and everything like that doing 270 in the half or the standing mile now. So like the speeds are definitely achievable. You put enough horsepower behind something with aerodynamics and you just point it straight, those things will go. So I'm excited to see what they end up coming up with. I'm happy to see that they're going to do more data acquisition this time. If I really thought that car did what it said it would do, the first thing I would have done as SSC would have been to release the other video files and say pick them apart. At least there would be some sort of consensus as to how fast the car went. Right now, I'm going to say we don't know. It's probably high 270s, 280s maybe. But I don't think it, like, I mean, what I think doesn't matter. I didn't really dig the video apart. But from what I've seen, I don't think it did 330. Let's put it that way. And I hope that it goes out there. I hope it does something really cool. Even if it doesn't hit 330, even if it potentially could break the record, I still think it's very cool that it will now be documented properly. It's the only way to do it. And it doesn't have to do the same thing. Even if it does, like, imagine it goes out and does like 323. Everyone will be like, all right, I sort of believe the first data point now. But there has just been so much wishy-washy back and forth. I felt like addressing it. I made the video yesterday to say this is how it should happen. And I'm happy to say this is how it is going to happen, which is they're going to go out there, run it again. I fully support the effort. I'm looking forward to it. I hope everybody stays safe. As cool as this is to watch unfold and the teeter-tottering back and forth, the most important thing is that the car goes out there, the driver's safe, the tires are good, and then they go out and do something. Whatever it runs, we'll actually know the actual data point this time. And I wish them well. I love rooting for the underdog. I hope they go out and do 300 plus miles an hour. And that would make me very happy if they do, and that they can prove it and document it this time better. I think we'll all be in a good shape. So let's stay tuned. We'll see. I don't know if there's a date been set yet. When it does, we'll all keep an eye on it. And I'll bring it to you just to bring closure to all of this. The record itself still stands. They're not sending the data over for validation. So let's just assume that run never happened. And now they're on our radar that we know they're going to go try to break the top speed record. And let's see what happens. It's going to be a couple of weeks, I would say, at least. And I'm looking forward to it. I don't know about you. This sort of stuff gets me like, whether you're into it or not, this isn't like a cannonball record. This is a cars hauling ass record. And I'm sort of curious to see what ends up happening with this car, because it's a big deal for this company. This is like a make it or break it move for this company. Imagine they go out and the car walks the walk. Now everybody's paying attention. You got even more eyeballs paying attention. You're going to start seeing orders, especially at $1.9 million. That's a big sales point. But the problem is if it goes out and it doesn't walk the walk, and say it does 260, then that's a bigger problem. I don't think that'll be the case. I think it will do something impressive. May not be as impressive as 330 or 316 average, but whatever it is, I'll bring it to you. Rob Ferretti. See you tomorrow. So you guys are familiar with my other company, Adventure Drives, right? Well, we're going to be going to Scotland in October. We're going to be doing Scotch distilleries, playing golf at St. Andrews if you want to do that, walking around, seeing lakes, waterfalls, driving the North Coast. It's going to be an amazing trip. Prices start as low as $2,500 per person for the shorter trip in Scotland. If you're interested in going, check out the link in the description.